lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers sighed. We have come over a way that with tears have been watered. We have come treading the blood of the path of the slaughtered, out from the gloomy past till now we stand at last where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who has brought us thus far on the way, thou who has by thy might led us into the light. Keep us forever in your path, we pray, lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee, lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadowed beneath thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land. Ooh.
Good afternoon. I am Dr. Nerity Hughes. I am the chair for the Council of Minnesotans of African Heritage. Welcome to African Heritage Day on the Hill. We would have loved to have been in the rotunda to see you face to face, but yet again, we experienced the impacts of the pandemic and we have to do this virtually. However, it is still my honor and my pleasure to welcome you today to join us in this event. The Council for Minnesotans of African Heritage, also known as CEMA. One of our goals is to ensure people of African heritage that they fully and effectively participate in and equitably benefit from the political, social, and economic resources, policies, and procedures of the state of Minnesota. Our direct charter is this: advising the governor and the legislature on issues confronting and impacting people of African heritage, advising the governor and legislature on statutes, rules, and revisions to programs to ensure African heritage people have access to benefits and services provided to people in Minnesota. The council is comprised of 15 members, 11 of those community governor appointed members and 4 legislative members. We work as a direct liaison to the federal and local governments and private organizations on matters relating to those of African heritage in Minnesota. So again, I would like to welcome you to our program and hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Linda Sloan, and I'm the Executive Director for the Council for Minnesotans of African Heritage. CEMA reviewed the outcomes of the 2021 legislative sessions and engaged community and policy partners about their needs and priorities for 2022. CEMA will seek and support public policies that will improve the lives of African heritage children and families in 5 areas: economic security, education equity, health justice, public safety, and strong families and communities. A unifying thread across the 5 priority areas is the community's concern about the value of inclusion and participation in effective public policy development. Under public safety, we support investments in public safety practices that advance human rights, police accountability, and violence prevention in our community and justice systems. For example, we support the ban on no-knock warrants and the Crown Act, which bans hair discrimination as a form of racial discrimination. In economic security, we support legislation and public programs that engender and increase public and private investments in Black businesses, employment, and workforce development. We seek legislation that will provide economic relief to African heritage businesses and families. Speaking of families, strong families and communities, we advocate for legislative and regulatory changes that strengthen resources for underserved African heritage children and families, including any new fiscal and technical investments in child welfare, housing, and system redesign. One focus under this priority is getting the African American Preservation Act passed, which addresses racial disparities in Minnesota's child welfare and fosterage system. In education equity, we advocate for policy innovations to close opportunity gaps by improving Black student access to high quality academics, mental health, and technology resources. We support the Increased Teachers of Color and Indigenous Teachers Act. Our students will benefit and frankly deserve to be taught by teachers that look like them. In health justice, we track and support legislation and programming initiatives that respond to the unique public health challenges of African heritage constituents. We are fighting to ensure that our babies and mothers have positive health outcomes. We believe that by addressing these 5 areas, public safety, economic security, education equity, health justice, and strong families and communities, that we can help reduce some of the disparities that the African heritage community faces. Thank you.
Hi, I'm St. Paul Mayor Melvin Carter. Welcome to the capital city, where we're taking a new approach to city building. We've learned that instead of searching for talent and opportunity outside our community to bring into our city, we're investing in the people and possibilities that exist right here in our community. That's how we've been able to achieve so much working together. We've raised the minimum wage to $15 an hour, changed use of force rules, hired social workers to help people in crisis, and established restorative justice circles to divert low-level offenders away from criminal prosecution. We passed unprecedented housing investments, ended library late fines, doubled youth jobs funding, and tripled free recreation center programs. We've sent millions in relief to families and businesses, launched a legal defense fund for immigrants and refugees, piloted guaranteed income, and have started college savings accounts for over 6,000 St. Paul babies. This body of work is a result of governing together. It's a product of asking residents from every corner of our city to get involved in local governance so we can make this city work for all of us. That's why your voice is so important. Your perspectives are vital to conversations on how we make this state work for all of us. These past few years haven't been easy, and we all know that this work is more urgent than ever. We have all suffered trauma and loss that we can only recover from together. The tragedies we've endured, from the ongoing public health and economic crisis to the loss of life that we've experienced, from Jamari Rice to Dante Wright to Amir Locke, all unfold as the federal and state civil rights trials related to the murder of George Floyd has taken place in our community. Now more than ever, it's important that we not only take care of ourselves, but be sure to take care of one another too. As we move forward together, know that I appreciate the work you do to support our African American community here in St. Paul and across our state. We will continue to chart a path forward together. Thank you, and happy Black History Month.
Hello, I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan. It's an honor to virtually join the Council for Minnesotans of African Heritage's annual African Heritage Day on the Hill for Black History Month. As the highest ranking Native woman elected to executive office in the nation, I'm reminded each day that spaces I work in were not created by us or for us. And it's why everyone's voices and engagement in the legislative process matters to move our state and our country forward. Governor Walz and I have often said that budgets aren't just fiscal documents, but moral documents as well. There are people behind every single item that was included in our COVID-19 recovery budget in 2021 and our budget to move Minnesota forward in 2022. During the 2021 legislative session, we secured funding for technical assistance for Black, Native, and community of color-owned businesses. Our state expanded unemployment insurance access for high school students and directly supported nonprofits focused on workforce development in our communities. We made historic cost of living adjustments for MFIP, established the nation's first missing and murdered African American women's task force to ensure that every Black girl can grow up feeling loved, valued, safe, and protected. Provided free college for eligible youth emerging from the foster care system, and made reforms to the juvenile justice system to help support youth and eliminate racial disparities. But we're still working to recover from this pandemic. Our work is not done. We must continue our progress, and our budget to move Minnesota forward will help get us there. Recently, Governor Walz and I have proposed more than $400 million in projects that help communities grow and prosper. This includes $100 million in a focus on equity and bonding to ensure that projects reach those communities who have been traditionally excluded from capital investments. We want to put money in the pockets of people and families who need it most through permanent lowered cost and direct payments. Our budget supports farmers from underrepresented backgrounds to help them enter the vibrant field of agriculture and to help us feed the world. We're fighting for paid family and medical leave and sick and safe leave. We're working for community-based public safety grants because people are experts in their own lives and should have a say in what they need to be safe. We're working on juvenile justice and youth violence prevention, and we want to make investments in clean energy and protect our health and safety far into the future. From the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, we have been clear that this pandemic has not been born equally. And we have endured grief and stress and loss and trauma from the COVID-19 pandemic to the deaths of George Floyd, Dante Wright, mere lock. And loss is big and small. And it's time for us to take action to keep all of our neighbors safe and healthy and invest in a future that includes all of us. And together with the Council for Minnesotans of African Heritage at the helm, we will work towards building a better state for all people in Minnesota. I'm grateful for the space that you've created and for the work that you are doing. Gichimigwech, thank you. And let's keep moving Minnesota.
Hello everyone, Governor Tim Walz here. It's an honor to join the Council for Minnesotans of African Heritage annual African Heritage Day on the Hill for Black History Month. Minnesota's experienced a lot of loss over the last 2 years, from COVID-19 to the deaths of George Floyd, Daunte Wright, Amir Locke, and too many others. Our communities have been through a lot, and we know not everyone has been impacted equally. We must continue to listen to one another and lift each other up to move our state forward. In 2021, we made progress together for Minnesotans across this state. Our COVID-19 recovery budget included the largest increase in education in over 15 years in Minnesota. It also included historic investments in programs that recruit and retain teachers of color to inspire generations of students to come. And Minnesota passed a first-in-the-nation Healthy Start Act to keep incarcerated mothers and their children together. But these were just stepping stones, and Lieutenant Governor Flanagan and my budget to move Minnesota forward continues that work. Our budget would see over $700 million in direct payments to more than 2.7 million Minnesota households, and it would provide paid family and medical leave. It would help reduce crime across the state by supporting local public safety efforts, investing in community policing initiatives, and precise data-driven efforts to prevent crime in the first place. Minnesotans are at the heart of every single one of these decisions throughout this budget, and it's because of your voices that we're able to make sure everyone across the state is represented. Please continue to participate in this process because that's how we make true progress together. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Keith Ellison here, Attorney General for the state of Minnesota. And thank you to the Council on African Heritage for inviting us, assembling us today. It is so important that we have this day on the Hill to talk about issues of and concerning the community of African heritage. And as Attorney General, I work hard every day to work with my staff to represent the interests of the people of the state in two separate and distinct ways, which are important to keep note of. One is that we represent the public interest. What we believe at the Attorney General's office is in the best interest of the people of the state. We are empowered by statute and the Constitution to sue on behalf of the people of the state. And today, we've brought suits on behalf of the people of the state of Minnesota because of opioid manufacturers abusing people, because of vaping companies doing the same thing, because ExxonMobil is lying and distorting the truth and the effects of climate change. We also have sued on behalf of the people of the state to make sure that bad landlords are being fair to their tenants, that pharmaceutical companies, drug companies are being fair to customers and patients. And we have stood up, relentlessly over the time for all these critical issues. So that's one of the powers that we have. The other one is we represent the state of Minnesota. Now, that means the institutions of the state, the Department of Corrections, the Department of Human Rights, the Department of Veterans Affairs. We represent over 100 state agencies, boards, and commissions. And we do all those things on behalf of the people of the state. But when the state gets sued, we are the lawyers who show up to defend them. When state statutes get challenged, it is the Attorney General's office to defend those statutes if there is a constitutional basis for doing so. The areas that we're currently working in are helping people afford their lives and live with dignity, safety, and respect. We also have spent quite a bit of time on making sure that people can afford their lives. As I said, we've submitted lawsuits in a number of areas: tenants' rights, consumer justice. We also have a role to play in criminal justice when called upon, when asked. We do take over cases for counties and partner with counties in the criminal prosecution of cases. We also do things in the area of Medicaid fraud. But some of you may have heard about the role the Attorney General played in the Derek Chauvin case or the Kim Potter case or other cases like that, we do play an important role in the criminal justice system. Over the last 3 years, we've prosecuted about 33 cases on homicides and about 167 appeals from all over the state. So thank you, Council on African American Heritage, for assembling this really important lobby day on the Hill. It's an important day. It's a day where we come together and talk to legislators and policymakers about the interests of people of African heritage. I want to thank you for your leadership, and I want to ask you to continue to do the hard work that you do every day. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Robert Doty, Commissioner of the Minnesota Department of Revenue. I was appointed Commissioner by Governor Tim Walz in October 2020 and oversee the day-to-day operations for an agency with more than 1,400 employees that manages over 30 different taxes and collects over $26 billion annually for our state. I was excited to see the theme for this year's Virtual Day on the Hill is advocacy. Now more than ever, we need people of African heritage to participate in all levels of government to ensure we are all equitably benefiting from the resources available in this great state. Since I was appointed Commissioner, we here at Revenue have spent considerable time looking at how we can achieve that goal. We've made a conscious effort to always look at our work through an equity lens. Specifically, examining our state's tax code to see where inequities exist and how we can administer our state's tax laws in a more equitable way. Increasing community and stakeholder engagement. Identifying and removing structural inequity. Developing strategies to lead a diverse workforce. Providing meaningful customer service through direct contact, outreach efforts, and education. We also recognize the need to continue building relationships with communities across our state. Revenue recently made several strategic investments to support this work, one of which that I am most proud of is the creation of a public engagement office. This office will increase access for underserved communities, including communities in which English is not the first language. We are also working to expand outreach capacity to support additional communities and tax practitioners who work with those communities. At the Department of Revenue, our mission is working together to fund the future for all of Minnesota. I firmly believe that we have an opportunity to make Minnesota a more equitable state, especially when we are able to work with great partners like the Council for Minnesotans of African Heritage. Thank you again, and have an excellent Virtual Day on the Hill.
Good morning. I'm State Senator Bobby Joe Champion. I represent Senate District 59, which is North Minneapolis, the North Loop, a portion of downtown, and now I also represent a portion of Southeast. So I'm proud to be the sitting senator to work on various issues that impact our community. I serve on finance, which is the big finance committee. Anything that deals with money comes through the finance committee. Capital investments, and I'm the ranking member on jobs and economic growth. This year, I'm going to work on and push forward the African American Family Preservation Act. I'm proud to say Representative Esther Agbaje, who is my House member, is serving as the House author. I'm also working on jobs and economic development because I believe that in order for families to thrive, that households must make a livable wage, not a minimum wage, a livable wage to take care of their families. And sometimes that's through training and opportunities for upward mobility. I'm also pushing the Crown Act. I'm the author in the Senate, and again, Representative Agbaje is serving as the House author for the Crown Act. I'm putting forward also a Juvenile Justice Act, which is to deal with and confront some of the public safety issues that we see. I think it's important for us not to just to feel safe, but to be safe. And I believe we have to make the necessary investments to make sure our children are headed in the right direction, and in the event that they stumble, there must be opportunities for them to come back into what I would call law-abiding behavior. And I just want you to know, I think it's so important. There's so many other issues. Reparations, you know, I'm the chief author of reparations and other bonding bills. As I mentioned earlier, that I'm on the Capital Investments Committee, and I believe it's important for our voice to be at the table and for our community to get the resources they need in order to move forward when we think in terms of infrastructure. I'm going to continue to do the work that I need to in order to support our communities. Now, I can't do it alone. It's important for us to be partners. You have a role to play, which is why I'm so happy that you are here with us today. And thank you to the Council for Minnesotans of African Descent, or African Heritage, I should say. I sometimes say African Descent, but it's African Heritage. And a special thank you to its new Executive Director, Linda Sloan, for all of your work and for mobilizing our community to come out and understand what's important to our community and making sure others understand what's important to our communities. So be my partner. I need you. I need you to put a face on the issues that we are dealing with in real time. And if there's anything I can do to be of any further assistance, because we're partners, feel free to give me a call. You can reach out to my office or even follow us on our social media platforms, because that's how we sometimes communicate as well. And if you want to be a part of our database, please contact our office. But most importantly, I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're engaged, and it takes a team in order to make the dream happen. So thank you so very much, and I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Hi, this is State Representative Marina Moran, and I'm delighted once again to have the chance to spend some time with you. Because we're still in a pandemic, we are putting our best effort forward to keep people safe. And because of that safety priority, we are once again virtual. I have had the honor to serve resident in House District 65A. That covers St. Paul neighborhoods of Frogtown, the historical Rondo community, Summit University, and parts of the North End and Cathedral Hill. Overall, my main priority is to lead through an equity lens and work this session to ensure that Black Minnesotans can experience economic recovery from the difficulties of the past 2 years. Not just the wealthy and big corporations who have raked in more and more money as regular people have struggled. No matter what the numbers say, as long as we have people in our community experiencing homelessness, food insecurity, or facing big medical bills, we have more work to do. The good news is that we have a $7.7 billion surplus. As chair of House Ways and Means Committee, I'm working to develop a supplemental budget to address the urgent needs we're facing right now. All Minnesotans deserve economic security, and we will work to enact earned sick and safe time and paid family leave and deliver additional pay for frontline workers, including the grocery store workers. Too many Black Minnesotans struggle to access health care, and we need to expand coverage to programs like the Minnesota Care, focus on behavioral health, better educational outcomes for our Black children and youth, reduce prescription drug costs, and help relieve pressure on our healthcare heroes, like our hospital nurses and workers in long-term care centers, who are all overworked and exhausted. The pandemic has disrupted learning, and we need to make more investment in our classroom to reduce the disparities, expand childcare and early learning, and special education for our English language learners. We will also focus on improving public safety to advance community-driven solutions to address the rise in crimes that's on so many people's mind, while working to restore community trust with law enforcement. We have to build trusting relationship with law enforcement so that we can see our children going into this profession and walking the beats in our neighborhoods and driving down the streets in our neighborhoods. If we're going to see a difference in this area, then we are going to have to be a part of the system and part of the solution. Every step of the way, I'll be working to ensure that our budget has a focus on equity and is aimed at improving opportunities for African-American people, families, and small businesses that have faced the biggest challenges. Above all, beyond any single issue, It's important for everyone here to continue staying engaged, continue staying involved, continue being a strong advocate for the vision that we want for our states with equity, opportunity, and prosperity for all Minnesotans, no matter where you live or what you might look like. And we have to put our best foot forward to accomplish this, because you know what? This is what Black Minnesotans deserve. And we know that when the Black community is doing well, we're all going to do well. So I look forward to continuing our partnership to deliver a brighter future for our states, for our children, for our communities, and for our families. Thank you. And don't forget, get vaccinated, get boosted, social distance, wear your mask, because we are our brother's keepers. We are responsible for all of us. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Alice Roberts Davis, Commissioner for the Minnesota Department of Administration. I'm a member of Governor Tim Walz's cabinet, and I was appointed in 2019. I'm so proud to be with you today as we celebrate African Heritage Day on the Hill and take up the challenge of the Council for Minnesotans of African Heritage for advocacy. The agency that I lead plays a lot of roles in state government, from managing more than 6,200 state-owned buildings to managing arts and culture heritage grants and state historic preservation, archaeology, and so much more. But one of the biggest things that we do is to provide purchasing and contracting for all of the state of Minnesota. It's in this that we play the biggest role for businesses of color, targeted group businesses, economically disadvantaged, and veteran-owned businesses across the state. We do this through our Office of Equity and Procurement. Over the last 5 years, we've doubled the amount of money we spent on goods and services for BIPOC targeted group businesses. That's good, but we know we can do better. This year, we're advancing legislation that will build on the success so that we can double the numbers again, and then double them again and again. Our legislation will raise the threshold from $25,000 to $100,000 for purchases made with targeted group businesses. That means that we can directly select a targeted group business without any solicitation or competition up to $100,000. Our second proposal will allow us to double the preference from 6% to 12% with targeted group businesses. That will allow targeted group businesses to be more competitive with majority-owned businesses. Improving opportunities for BIPOC business owners improves opportunities for BIPOC communities. That's why it's important to get this legislation passed this year. We need your support, your advocacy to make this happen. Thank you for inviting me here today, and enjoy your day on the Hill.
Hello, I'm Roslyn Robertson of the Minnesota Department of Labor and Industry. I've worked for labor and industry for almost 35 years in a variety of leadership roles. Although I retired in 2016, I was invited to come back to DLI to serve as Deputy Commissioner in 2019. Since my appointment as Commissioner in January of 2021, I have worked to lead Labor and Industry's dedicated staff to address worker protection issues, help injured workers promptly receive benefits and service, educate employers and employees about their rights and responsibilities in the workplace, and improve our agency outreach efforts and business processes to ensure all stakeholder input is considered, valued, and acted upon. Of course, COVID has made worker safety more complex, yet even more important today. In the areas of health equity, our agency has supported the work of the Council for Minnesotans of African Heritage by working with the legislature and community partners to pass amendments to Minnesota pregnant and nursing mother laws, which is part of the Women Economic Security Act. To share this good news, Our agency worked with community-based organizations such as the African American Babies Coalition to disseminate information and educate stakeholders about employees' rights under this new law. In the area of economic development, our agency support the work of the council by providing grants to community-based organizations to facilitate the participation of people of color, Indigenous people, and women in registered apprenticeship. Along with our apprenticeship program, our dual training pipeline program conducts outreach with employers about how to recruit and retain a workforce that addresses diversity, equity, and inclusion. Over the past few years, labor and industry has worked to develop and implement outreach, education, and partnership relationships with stakeholders from a wide variety of cultural groups and developed an agency-wide coordinated public engagement plan to see how best to provide agency services and resources to Minnesota's most vulnerable populations. We are proud to support the goals of the Council for Minnesotans of African Heritage to educate stakeholders, provide grants to community-based organizations, and conduct outreach with employers about how to recruit and retain a workforce that addresses diversity, equity, and inclusion. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Omar Fateh, and I'm a first-term senator, now in my second year representing South Minneapolis in the Minnesota Senate. I sit on the Human Services Reform, State Government, and Human Services Licensing Committees. I'm also proud to co-chair the Minnesota Health Plan Caucus with my colleague, Senator Jen McEwen. This moment, more than ever before, we as leaders of African heritage need to rise up and claim our voice on issues affecting Minnesotans of African heritage. The pandemic has highlighted and brought to the forefront the racism and inequality within our healthcare system. We have seen African Americans and African immigrants suffer disproportionate rates of infection, hospitalization, and death throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. We have also seen traditional inequality within the healthcare system go unaddressed in spite of a once-in-a-lifetime public health emergency. Now is the time for us to stand up and say enough. That is why I am so excited to be the co-founder and the co-chair of the Minnesota Health Plan Caucus, which will guarantee healthcare to all as a right of residency, regardless of citizenship status or ability to pay. Minnesotans of African heritage have experienced so much medical racism that many have given up on seeking healthcare until it's too late. And all Minnesotans who are not independently wealthy have felt the economic hardship of dealing with the healthcare system through insurance, meaning premiums, deductibles, co-pays, and other out-of-pocket costs. If we are going to address disparities in our healthcare system, it is time to move away from the employer-based, get what you can afford model, and afford healthcare to all as a right at the point of service. In the summer of 2020, after the murder of George Floyd, many of us said that we're going to undergo a racial reckoning. As we enter spring of 2022, with multiple high-profile police murders and acts of radicalized violence, it is clear that this new civil rights era will be a long-term period of change and growth. What we have not seen is bold, decisive change from our elected leaders. As leaders of African heritage, we must continue to fight even though we are exhausted. We must continue to speak truth to power even when we feel like no one is listening. Last session, I introduced legislation to ban no-knock warrants, barring extreme circumstances, such as an active shooter or a hostage situation. This legislation could have prevented the execution of the no-knock warrant that led to the murder of Amir Locke. This session, Representative Athena Hollins is leading this effort in the House. We need to support our sister Representative Hollins and fight for change in the area of public safety. In this fight, we must include alternatives to policing, violence prevention, and taking a public health approach to public safety by addressing mental health and housing unaffordability. These are complex issues that require mass movement power to overturn the status quo. I need you. my fellow leaders of African heritage to stay active and stay engaged in our fight for a better world for all. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Esther Agbaje, and I represent House District 59B in the Minnesota House of Representatives. The district covers downtown Minneapolis, including Elliott Park, North Loop, and parts of North Minneapolis, as well as Bryn Mawr. This is my first term, and I'm honored to represent such a diverse and vibrant district in Minnesota. This year, I serve on the Capital Investment Committee, the Housing Committee, the Taxes Committee, the Preventive Health Committee, and the Rules Committee. I also serve as the co-chair of the DFL People of Color and Indigenous Peoples Caucus. The bills that I believe that I'm working on that have a direct impact on people of color, but especially Black people, are those that will increase investment in the areas of housing, youth engagement, and economic development. This term, I have the honor to carry both the Crown Act, which prohibits hair discrimination in the state of Minnesota, and the African American Family Preservation Act, that ensures that Black children are able to stay with extended family members rather than defaulting to the foster care system. I'm also bringing forward legislation in the housing space that will make it easier to bring certain defenses into housing court, especially when repairs are at issue. Then I'm also working on capital investment projects that will bring health and wellness and enhanced recreation centers where young people can engage in sports, music, education, and entrepreneurship. And then finally, bills that provide tax benefits to our small and micro business owners. It is important that we have representation from across the African diaspora in the Minnesota House of Representatives. We are bringing forward the voices of people who are often only an afterthought to others who are not directly connected to our lives and experiences. It's important for me to bring the perspective of the Black millennial generation when it comes to shaping economic, housing, and educational policies to ensure that we can grow and build wealth as we progress in our work. Black people in Minnesota are not a monolith, and by having more of us in the roles where we can change policy, we can ensure that more benefits are coming to more Minnesotans. But we can't rely on our elected officials alone. We need all of you to get involved by contacting us with your ideas, hosting events in your community to bring neighbors together to tackle issues that you really care about, and plugging into local and state organizations where you can bring your voice and perspective to more decision makers. Voting is just one part of our democracy, and we need Black voices there, but also in every aspect of our society. I recommend if you're looking for a place to start, the council likely has great resources to get you connected. Thank you all for participating in this virtual Day on the Hill, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.
Hey everybody, my name is Sergeant Frazier, State House District 43A. Now that's the newly formed District 43A, formerly District 45A. In District 43A, I represent the cities of New Hope and Crystal. If you're a constituent, I'm looking forward to representing your voice at the Minnesota State Legislature. Currently, I am working on the Public Safety Innovation Package, which is a bill designed to provide over $100 million for public safety frameworks that will largely focus on community group crime prevention. Now, this is important because for a long time in public safety, we have relied on one section or one sector of public safety, and that is law enforcement. They will be a part of the public safety framework, but they are not the only part of the public safety framework. We need our community engaged and involved in our public safety. And the Public Safety Innovation Package is a bill that does just that. It also creates accountability that will help build trust within the communities between law enforcement and community groups. And it will provide sustained resources for our community crime prevention groups to be able to do the work that is necessary to keep our communities safe. I am also carrying the Frontline Workers Bill that will provide resources up to $1,500 checks for those that have to work in person during the time that Minnesota was on a stay-at-home order. These are your child care providers, these are your grocery store workers, these are your janitors, your nurses. These are the individuals that work day in and day out to make sure that we stayed safe while they were out doing the work, providing the services that we needed, and they kept our economy going here in Minnesota. And they are in large part responsible for the $7.7 billion surplus that we have. And I think it's only fair and it's only right that we honor those workers and pay them back some of those resources that they helped us gain by the hard work and sacrifices that they did and gave by working day in and day out in person during the pandemic. I'll tell you, it is very important that we have representation of individuals and communities at our state legislature. I think about the upbringing that I had growing up on the south side of Chicago, and I think about the experiences that I had. And I think that I know that those experiences have made me a better legislator. It made me a better policy maker, because I truly understand when you're drafting a policy and developing legislation, you have to understand how it impacts certain communities. What happens when the rubber meets the road? And I know how that works, based on my lived experiences. So I'm glad to be here today, glad to send this message, and I hope everybody is having a great day. And I'm looking forward to meeting many more folks and representing my Dune District 43A constituents as we move forward. Thank you all. Enjoy the rest of the time. Bye.
Hello, my name is John Thompson, and I am your state representative representing Senate District 67A, which covers most of the east side of St. Paul, in particular the Payne-Phelan neighborhood, a very diverse neighborhood where we actually use our diversity as our strength here in St. Paul. Thank you to the Council for Minnesotans of African Heritage for allowing me to participate and be a part of our Day on the Hill. And just keeping up with the theme of advocacy, I wanted to just share real quick some of the committees I sit on. I sit on the Agriculture Finance Committee. I sit on the Behavioral Health and Human Services Committee. I sit on the Higher Ed Finance Committee and the Education Finance Committee. I know our theme was advocacy, and so just keeping up with the theme, I wanted to share what advocacy meant for me real quick. You know, advocacy to me is when an individual or a group supports and influences political, economic, and social decisions. You know, the goal of an advocate is like to gain support in a certain environment to create change for the better. You know, people believe that it takes 10% of a population holding a strong belief to persuade the remaining population to adopt like that same belief. This means that with the right amount of support, help, and a common goal to better the state, people from all around the state can eventually live freely and equally. Your advocates have been contributing to this work all around the state for centuries, way before my time. And while these advocates come from different backgrounds from all across the state, they all have one common thing, and that's a passion to change our state for the better. And so I look forward to working with the Council for Minnesotans on African Heritage and our state on bettering our state for all. Thank you so much. Love you. Have a great day.
Hi, my name is Tarek Tomes, and I'm the Commissioner of Minnesota IT Services and the Chief Information Officer for the state of Minnesota. I've been a proud member of Governor Walz and Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan's cabinet for approximately 3 years. And our mission within Minnesota IT Services is to support the most innovative digital government that works for everyone. Really want to congratulate the Council for Minnesotans of African Heritage for the work that they do and this all-important theme of advocacy. In 2021, one of the most important things that we have ever done is we directly facilitated and supported providing vaccines for COVID-19 to over 600,000 Minnesotans. And within that was data that helped us understand, are we reaching everyone in a fair and equitable manner? The data tells so many important stories and is so crucial to making sure that opportunities exist, but data also plays such an important and critical role in allowing people to advocate for the outcomes that they expect in their various communities and the outcomes that are equitable and just that lead to so many different opportunities. Technology and digital services will continue to grow, and our role as advocates to make sure that our communities are at the table and have opportunities will continue to be incredibly important. One of the most pressing challenges that we face is a shortage of technologists within Minnesota, and in particular, a shortage of technologists of color. is going to continue to be incredibly important, that not only do we do everything that we can to excite our young folks to enter into this field, but that we also examine how we hire. We examine the prerequisites that we have to make sure that we're laying the right foundation and a bridge to allow people to enter into this field based on their ability to succeed in this field, and not prerequisites that really actually aren't connected with how you ultimately will do. One of the things that I think is really, really important as it relates to holding positions of leadership as an African American is it just allows us to be in the room to offer our perspectives, our experiences, our backgrounds. We're also able to not just demonstrate that we are able to succeed in these jobs. We're able to not just demonstrate that we can do the job, but we can demonstrate that we can thrive, that we absolutely are able to be leaders, hold positions of higher leadership, and help organizations achieve their goals while bringing so many different perspectives. Also, I think it's really important, of course, that when we hold these positions, these higher leadership positions, that we do everything that we can to open the doors for others that are aspiring for leadership opportunities, and that we tell stories of how we were able to get to where we are and the opportunities that may exist for them. Really want to congratulate again the Council for Minnesotans of African Heritage and the work that they do, and just continue to lean into that work of providing advocacy opportunities and doing everything that we can to uplift our communities. Thank you.
I asked myself the question, what drives one to assume the yoke of leadership? I have been honored to have stood on the shoulders of Jim Griffin and Corky Finney and Linda Finney and Michael Jordan and Deb Montgomery here in Minnesota, Commissioner Chuck Ramsey and Superintendent Terry Hilliard from my hometown of Chicago. And I hope that our new young leaders, Blair Anderson, Roger New down in Egan, Sawana Kirkland, and our first black chief of Bloomington, Booker Hodges, my assistant commissioner, will carry on that tradition of high character leadership and never forgetting who they are and whose they are. That question of who you are and whose you are, I think, speaks to the link and the legacy of community that we all come from. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King said that we are all held together in an inescapable web of mutuality. What affects one of us individually affects us all. And he asked all of us to be our brothers and sisters keepers. We are all of one community. Whether you're an East Sider or a North Sider, whether you're a city kid or from greater Minnesota, we all must contribute our share to the common good. We are that web of mutuality, and we can be that small group of thoughtful, committed citizens that change our brothers and sisters' world. To borrow a phrase from President Obama, this is the change we need to be, and it is the promise we need to keep.
Hey, I'm Ashley Dubose, and this is my original song, Make Me Black, written by me and produced by DJ Rich Lee. You can listen to it anywhere you listen to your music digitally, and let's get into it. Make Me Black. Yeah. Low down, moves it. Yeah. If I die and come back, make me black. Anywhere in the world on the map. I don't care if my head got some naps. Rock a fro with a pick in the back. If I die and come back, make me black. Even if the world don't like me 'cause of that. Give me style, give me heart, give me strength, make me black. Yo, if I die and come back, make me black. In the present, in the future, in the past. Give me roots that run deeper than the flag. Like the soil of the earth, make me black. Rich in love and abundant in abilities, ingenuity and endless creativity. I want the style and the grace and the walk. I want the wisdom and the goal. I want it all, yeah. If I die and come back, make me black. Anywhere in the world on the map. I don't care if my hair got some naps. Rock a fro with a pick in the back. If I die and come back, make me black. Even if the world don't like me 'cause of that. Give me soul, give me rhythm, give me swag. Give me heart, give me strength, make me black. Yo, I want the tone of the voice when I speak that makes it known most unmistakably that my chords have been kissed by the gods. I want the power to defeat any odds. Make my eyes sparkle like the stars. Keloid skin in the dark colored scars. Melanin popping, bathing in the sun. Give me rhythm when I'm dancing to the drums. Put a little extra sauce on the kid just for fun. Can't nobody pull it off like the kids where I'm from. Rough beginnings, but just look at the way we bounce back. If I die in return, Lord, please make me black. Yeah. If I die and come back, make me black. Anywhere in the world on the map. I don't care if my head got some naps. Rock a fro with a pick in the back. If I die and come back, make me black. Even if the world don't like me cause of that. Give me soul, give me rhythm, give me swag. Give me heart, give me strength, make me black. Yo, I could be born in Kenya where they speak Swahili, or an 80s baby born in Mississippi, weed smoking hippie, Queen Nefertiti. I don't mind when the where I tell you why, cause see, we be the people that make the world smile, world go round. And you wonder why they keep us down, but don't frown, there's a blessing in our essence, that's the message that I'm stressing. If I die and go to heaven, I'ma tell them if I die and come back, make me black, make me anywhere in the world on the map, make me, I don't care if my head got some naps, make me black, rock a fro with a pick in the back, if I die and come back, make me black, even if the world don't like me cause of that, give me soul, give me rhythm, give me swag, give me heart, give me strength, make me black, yeah. Yo, black people, I know the world tries to tell us a lot about what it means to be black, but never forget the blessing and the beauty inherent in your blackness. Yo, if I die and come back, make me black. Anywhere in the world on the map. Yeah. Yeah. Rock a fro with a pick in the back. Yeah. If I...
That concludes our program. We hope that you will join us in our fight to eliminate disparities in the African heritage community. Have a fantastic day.